Welcome to Betrayal Stories. In today's video, we explore something rarely spoken about openly, something that lives beneath words, beneath logic, okay? Beneath what people claim they want versus what their nervous system actually responds to. Is not a story about scandal or temptation or reckless behavior. This is a story about presence, about silence, about the subtle moments that reshape perception without asking for permission, and about how a single human gesture, when done with intention, can leave an imprint far deeper than grand declarations or dramatic actions ever could. Let me be completely honest with you about something most women will never say out loud. Not because they are hiding it, but because they themselves often don't consciously understand it. The right kind of hug, delivered at the right moment, with the right energy, can create a deeper, more visceral sense of arousal and emotional disruption than most kisses ever will. This isn't romantic fantasy. This is observation. This is pattern. This is biology meeting psychology in a way that bypasses polite conversation and goes straight to the nervous system. I've spoken with women who found themselves unexpectedly unsettled after a single embrace from a man they never considered a romantic option. Women who went home confused, restless, replaying a moment that should have been forgettable. Women who suddenly question their attraction to their current partners, not because those partners did anything wrong, but because their bodies responded to something unfamiliar. A deliberate shift in how he held her, calmness that didn't ask for approval, a stillness that felt grounding. And suddenly, her mind couldn't stop circling back to him, even though nothing overtly happened. Most men never experience this effect because most men hug the same way they shake hands, quickly, politely, procedurally. It's a gesture designed to complete a social obligation, not create a memory. These hugs communicate friendliness, neutrality, safety without depth. And while safety is important, safety without polarity extinguishes desire. The average hug says, "We are on equal social footing, and nothing is at stake here." Her nervous system hears that message loud and clear. That files the interaction away as non-threatening and forgettable. But the man who understands the deeper language of touch doesn't just hug a woman. He creates an echo. He leaves behind a neurological residue that lingers long after the physical contact has ended. He introduces a sensation her logical mind can't neatly label, but her body recognizes instantly. It's not about force. It's not about pressure. It's about intention, presence, and restraint. My name is Dr. Christina Morgan, and today we are decoding the science behind that kind of touch. By the end of this video, you'll understand how a subtle adjustment in posture and one specific point of contact can completely change how a woman perceives you, often in under 5 seconds. This is not manipulation. This is communication. Communication that happens beneath words, beneath conscious thought. If you're ready to learn a deeper form of human connection, one that operates at the level of the nervous system rather than surface behavior, type the word hug in the comments below. Good. Let's continue. The reason most hugs fail to create any emotional or physical resonance is because they operate entirely on a social script, a script we've all learned since childhood. You step forward, arms wrapped briefly. There may be a light squeeze, often accompanied by a pat on the back. The pat is important because it acts as punctuation. It closes the interaction, says this moment is complete. Nothing more is intended. From a neurological standpoint, that pat is a signal of finality. It keeps the nervous system alert, upright, and socially oriented. This type of hug keeps her in what we call sympathetic awareness. She is present, friendly, engaged, but not relaxed. And relaxation is crucial because arousal cannot coexist with vigilance. A body that is scanning for social cues cannot simultaneously sink into sensation. The forgettable hug reassures her mind, but it leaves her body untouched. The hug that creates an imprint does the opposite. It's purpose is not to reassure her socially, but to ground her physically. It intentionally disrupts expectation. It introduces calm where she anticipated speed, stillness where she expected movement, silence where she assumed conversation. Here's where most men get confused. They believe attraction is built through action, intensity, and effort. They think more energy equals more impact. In reality, primal attraction is built on restraint, on grounded presence, on the ability to remain still without discomfort. Hurried touch signals uncertainty. An over-energetic touch signals anxiety. But a calm, unhurried touch signals authority and safety simultaneously. And safety is not the absence of danger. Safety is the presence of someone who can contain intensity without being overwhelmed by it. This brings us to the framework we're using today, something known as the somatic imprint. The word somatic refers to the body. The goal here is not to convince your mind of anything. You are not trying to persuade, impress, or escalate. You are leaving behind a physical memory, a sensory data point her nervous system will recall later, often without her understanding why. This framework rests on three foundational elements: tempo, stillness, and anchor point. When these three align, they create a moment that feels distinct from every other interaction she's had that day, that week, or even that year. Let's begin with tempo, because this is where almost everyone makes their first mistake. Most social interactions move at conversational speed. That speed is friendly, efficient, and safe. But attraction does not live at conversational speed. Attraction lives in contrast. When you initiate a hug at the same pace as everyone else, her body remains in prediction mode. Nothing unexpected occurs by slowing your movement by approximately 25%. You immediately interrupt her internal rhythm. Her nervous system notices. Attention sharpens. Not because something alarming is happening, but because something different is happening. Slow movement communicates deliberateness. It says, I am present. I am not rushed. I am comfortable in this moment. This slower tempo also allows her body time to register sensation. Fast movement bypasses feeling. Slow movement invites it. You're not dragging the moment out artificially. You're simply allowing it to unfold instead of rushing to completion. Next is stillness, and this is where the real shift occurs. Once you are in the embrace, you do nothing. No pat, no sway. No commentary. You don't fill the silence with reassurance. You simply hold and breathe. This lack of social feedback is deeply disarming. Her brain, which is accustomed to managing conversations, interpreting tone, and responding to cues, suddenly has nothing to process. When the analytical mind has no task, it quiets, okay? And when the mind quiets, sensation comes forward. From a physiological standpoint, this triggers a parasympathetic response. Her breathing slows. Muscle tension decreases. The body moves out of alertness and into receptivity. This is the only state in which a woman can feel both profoundly safe and subtly aroused at the same time. Now we arrive at the most misunderstood element, the anchor point. Where you place your hand matters far more than how tightly you hold. Most men instinctively place their hands high on the back or shoulders. This placement is non-threatening, respectful, and socially appropriate. It is also the anatomical equivalent of the friend zone to create a somatic imprint. Your dominant hand must anchor lower, specifically along the natural curve of her lower back. This is not invasive. It is not aggressive. It is intimate in a quiet, grounded way. The lower back is a region associated with support, stability, and protection. When your hand rests there firmly and calmly, her body interprets it as containment. This gesture communicates something ancient and wordless. You are held. You are safe. I am here. And because it is paired with stillness and silence, it does not feel needy or performative. It feels intentional. Let me distill this into one simple directive, because simplicity is power. slow down, stay silent. Anchor your hand on her lower back. That's it. Master this sequence and you will understand more about nonverbal communication than most people ever do. In the case studies I've reviewed, women rarely recall the duration of the hug accurately. Some believe it lasted longer than it did. Others can't describe what was different, only that it was. But one detail appears again and again: the placement of the hand. Weeks later, sometimes months later, they remember that specific sensation, with a mix of curiosity and intrigue. This is not about learning a trick. Tricks are conscious. They are transparent. They collapse under scrutiny. This is about learning a language. The language of grounded masculine presence. A language spoken through restraint rather than performance. We live in a culture saturated with noise, constant stimulation, endless communication. In that environment, silence becomes rare. And rare things carry weight. The ability to create. A moment of quiet, embodied connection is not just attractive. It's regulating. It offers something many people didn't realize they were missing. This is about embodying calm confidence, not projecting it. It's about allowing your physical presence to communicate what words cannot. When a woman feels both protected and desired in the same moment, something shifts internally. Not because you did more, but because you did less with greater intention. Your actions always reveal your inner state. A man who is comfortable with silence communicates security. A man who can remain still without retreating communicates strength. These qualities are felt before they are understood, so I invite you to make a commitment to intentional action. Not dramatic gestures, not rehearsed lines, but presence. Type the word "ready" in the comments if you are committed to communicating from a place of calm confidence. If this framework gave you a new perspective on human connection, make sure to subscribe for more science-based insights into attraction, psychology, and nonverbal communication. And finally, share this video with a man you know who has a good heart, but whose physical presence hasn't yet caught up with the depth of his character. Until next time. This is Dr. Christina Morgan.